Hello my loves and welcome to Absolutely Cosmical. I'm Luna, your astrologer and tarot reader, and today I'm bringing to you the weekly forecast for all 12 signs. We're going to go over the astrology of the week and then I'm going to pull a card for each of the 12 signs. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising sign to get the most in-depth look at the next week. If you want to learn more about your zodiac sign and your astrology to deepen your understanding of yourself, your future, or your relationships, you can book personalized astrology and tarot readings on my website, absolutelycosmical.com. First thing we have this week is this Mercury trine to Saturn. This is a really great time to have clarity of thought around overcoming our obstacles and our responsibilities this week. Saturn has been retrograde for a few months now, so there's probably been some obstacles and delays around certain things that we've been dealing with in our life. This could be around documentation, this could be around our relationships, this could be around money, but either way, all of those things that you've been putting off with a Mercury trine to Saturn, there is going to be more ease in getting those things done, whether it be calling and making that doctor's appointment finally, getting your car and oil change, etc., etc., etc. This is also really great for having really deep and honest conversations about difficult topics with a family member, a relationship. This is all like very watery energy, so it's really great for talking about your feelings, booking that therapy session, having that really deep talk with your boyfriend about that issue you guys haven't really fully dealt with. We also have a sun square to Pluto coming up this week. So Pluto is currently at 29 degrees of Capricorn, so we are really closing a 15 to 20 year long cycle. Right now, we're going to start an amazing, incredible new cycle for the next 15 to 20 years as Pluto enters Aquarius later this year. But this sun square to Pluto is really about reassessing where in our life we might need to let go of something that we might have attached like our self-worth to, something we might have attached a lot of attention and energy to. But because the sun is in Libra, the sun is debilitated there. So there is a sense of like, where have you been putting yourself second? Where have you been accommodating, compromising for someone else or other things in your life that aren't even really things that you want? With Pluto at 29 degrees in Capricorn, you are finalizing the structures of your material world, of your career, of your finances, of your long-term goals. So Pluto in Capricorn has been transforming this area of your life for 15 to 20 years. And now that Pluto has reached 29 degrees, which is the energetic degree, which is a sense of urgency, it's an exclamation point. It's like the beginning of like, we are about to close this chapter. And Spirit is saying like, look at what you've built. Is there anything else that you want to throw out before this new beginning starts in your life? The sun is also entering Scorpio this week, so we are upping the spooky vibes, we're upping our intuition, we're feeling more connected to our subconscious world. But also this sun in Scorpio will be ruled by Mars, which is currently in Cancer and is retrograde. So honestly, this week feels really transformative. There's a lot of like transformation and things going on this week, which is really powerful coming off of the full moon in Aries that happened last week. We have just been in this energy of letting go for really a while now. We are in a current like transition period in the astrology. 2025 is a major time of transition. Like there are so many new planetary energies coming up 2025 that are marking the beginnings of major new beginnings, like 15-20 year cycle type beginnings. If you are wanting a 2025 year ahead reading, I have just put that out. I will link it in the description for you guys if you want to purchase that to get a look into what's coming up for you 2025. Essentially, with Mars retrograde in Cancer, this is something that is going to be going on for the next few months. This is really calling us to look at the past. I mean, Cancer is a really nostalgic sign. The sun in Scorpio is really deep. It holds on to things, and Mars being retrograde is like, we need to look back at the past, address things that we have been avoiding in order to move forward. There's a lot of watery energy and like really big need to reflect on how far we've come and also let go of things we've been holding on to because they've just become comfortable, and understanding that in order for us to be able to move forward, let go, thrive. All right, my love, so that was the astrology of the week. Let's take a look at a little bit more information for each of the signs. So starting off with Aries. What can Aries expect this next week with these energies coming through? Ooh, death. Okay, wow. This is not surprising. I mean, we do have, you're ruled by Mars. Mars is retrograde right now. It's in Cancer. You guys are really being called to let things go. Mars is also ruling Scorpio. There's a really big theme of endings. And for you guys, my Aries and Moon and Risings, you guys are really experiencing major transformation this week. So do not be surprised with the devil here at the bottom. Maybe we're needing to let go of negative mindsets, addictions, bad habits, things that we just know are not like really good for us. You do have Mars in the 4th house right now. So there could be maybe some tumultuousness or like a tit for tat, eye for an eye kind of thing that may be going on in the home life. Like maybe you're fighting with family and you're needing to let go. You're also having this Saturn in your 12th house at this time, which has really been calling you to work on your mental health, to rethink your subconscious influences, maybe where you're hiding insecurities, maybe where you're not acknowledging where you might be your own worst enemy sometimes. You guys have been in a period of like major transformation of self because you've had the North Node in your 1st house, and that eclipse cycle is coming to an end in the next 6 months. So expect your life to be very, very different 6 months from now. All right, Taurus, so let's see what's coming up for you this week. Ooh, we got the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. Okay, so you guys are really being called to be extra confident this week. So you guys do have Mars in the 3rd house at this time, but the Queen of Wands are being called to be assertive, to be confident, to be direct. This is very common with Mars in the 3rd house, but also Mars is in Cancer, which is kind of a submissive sign, and having Mars retrograde as well can also bring delays. So there might be something where you've been holding yourself back because you've been afraid to hurt someone's feelings, or you might even be afraid to get in trouble or like have some sort of backlash. However, with the sun entering Scorpio, you are being called to get into your bad bitch energy and really get into your empowerment. So let's pull another card for you guys to elaborate on the Queen of Wands, because I want to get a little more. Oh, Queen of Pentacles too. So this is about you getting serious about your money, baby. So anything regarding your career. Also, we did have the Two of Pentacles there earlier, which has a lot to do with partnership. And you do have the sun in the 7th house at this time and Mercury in the 7th house coming up this next week. So you could be delegating, negotiating, or like maybe asking for a raise. Maybe you're just going to put like a particularly creative passion into a more material focused place. All right, Gemini, let's see what's coming up for you this next week, my love. What can they expect this next week? All right, we have the Hierophant and the 8 of Pentacles. You're being called to be very dedicated to something this week. With the 8 of Pentacles at the bottom, the 8 of Pentacles has a lot to do with hard work and like really dedicating yourself to mastering some sort of craft. And the Hierophant also has a lot to do with like commitment and staying true to your values. So with the Hierophant and the 8 of Pentacles, you could be called to like stick with something that you really want for yourself, even if it takes more effort. Like even if it takes more effort for you to stick by your morals or stick by what you think is right, it's going to reward you in the long run. This is definitely concerning your career because you have Mars in the 2nd house, which is the house of your finances, and it's also the house of your values. So it makes sense with the Hierophant that you are being called to really stick to your guns when it comes to your value systems. This could also be related to like a work endeavor because you have Saturn in the 10th house right now. And this is really calling for you to have more, obviously put more effort into your career. Saturn is the planet of efforts, but it's also calling you to have more boundaries around what you will and will not accept in the workplace. This also makes a lot more sense because the sun is entering Scorpio, which will enter your 6th house, which is the house of your work environment, co-workers, all that kind of jazz. So again, I'm feeling like you need to speak up in a very direct and like mature way in the workplace. It could also even be that maybe there are people in the workplace who are questioning your authority or questioning your experience. And so with this Mercury trine to Saturn at the beginning of the week, I do think that you are going to have more clarity of thought of being able to convey your expertise and your experience in a way that allows you to be taken more seriously in the workplace. And that could come from being a little bit more assertive, right? Because Mars is retrograde and in Cancer in your 2nd house. Maybe you haven't been super assertive in the workplace recently because you don't want to hurt people's feelings or because you don't want to be the person that's like causing too many issues, but by putting your own expectations down, you're actually devaluing yourself. All right, Cancer, what can you expect coming up this week for you? We have the King of Cups. Oh, you're being called to be very kind to yourself with the King of Cups. I also see the 3 of Cups here at the bottom. You have Mars in the 1st house this week. You have Mars retrograde in Cancer, so you might be like really recognizing your own efforts, your own worth. Mars in the 1st house could be a time where we're just a little bit hard on ourselves. We might not always have the thickest skin, right? Mars in the 1st house, we could be overly sensitive or take things overly personally. So with the King of Cups, be gentle with yourself. Give yourself grace this week. Also, you have a lot of planets in your 5th house at this time, with the sun in the 5th house entering Scorpio. Mercury is also in Scorpio at that time, and it's in trine to Saturn in your 9th house, which has a lot to do with your faith, your belief systems in yourself. The 5th house has so much to do with like your ability to shine and to showcase your talents. It's also great for like having fun. Your spirits are low and like have been feeling kind of down on yourself, a little bit insecure, not really feeling yourself as much. 3 of Cups, call up your friends and go out this weekend, right? King of Cups, again, like speak more positively to yourself and understand that with Saturn in your 9th house, you are experiencing a time where you might be a little bit more pessimistic about your outlook on life. All right, Leo, let's see what's coming up for you this next week. What can we expect for Leo? The King of Swords, interesting. So I think you're being called to be a little bit more like harsh and direct with your speech. Now you do have Mercury in the 4th house in Scorpio this next week, and oh, there was 2 cards here. Yeah, very much like be more assertive, be more truthful with your speech this week. I think, Mercury's in your 4th house in Scorpio. The sun's entering Scorpio in the 4th house for you, and it's in trine to Saturn in your 8th house, which tells me that there might be a need for you to illuminate with the sun here some truths. When it comes to your family, particularly maybe in terms of like realities about conflicts that may be going on in the family, you do have Mars in the 12th house right now, which is an indicator that you have been avoiding conflict. You have been overly sensitive to others' needs. And I think with King of Swords and Page of Swords, you are being called to own your truth, speak your truth. And with the sun here, it's better to just have it all illuminated. Sometimes it's better to just own your truth than to feel like you're always tiptoeing around other people's feelings. So with the King of Swords, Page of Swords, direct speech is going to be your cup of tea this week. All right, Virgo. What can we expect for you, Virgo? I love how I saw a card coming through. Where'd it go? Okay, well, I couldn't find it, y'all. But oh, there it is. I saw it again. We have Death. Oh, interesting. Both Aries and Virgo, you guys got the Death card. It does make sense because for you, my loves, you guys have Saturn in the 7th house right now. It's opposing your ascendant. It's in your 7th house of partnerships and friendships. And you also have Pluto at the 29th degree in your 5th house. So there is some like really big chapter around your relationships ending. There's a big focus on relationships this week. The 5th house is the house of romance. The 7th house is the house of long-term partnerships. If you guys are dating or if you're in a long-term relationship, I do think there's going to be like a really major ending. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to break up or you're going to walk away from a relationship unless you feel like that's really what this is being called for. But there could be a sense of like a really big ending of a cycle. There is something that needs to be restructured. With Saturn in the 7th house, it's currently going to be in trine to Mercury in Scorpio in your 3rd house coming this week. So there might be some very real, honest conversations, heart-to-hearts that need to be had in your relationship about maybe long-term goals, the longevity of the relationship, the seriousness of the connection. And if you're single, this could be a time where you're really thinking through a lot of your limiting beliefs around relationships. If you're feeling jaded in relationships, things like that. We do have the Page of Swords at the bottom. So I want to pull one more card just to get a little more on like exactly what this ending may be. And then we have the Hermit. Oh, interesting. Okay. The Hermit, my love. I think you guys are closing out a chapter this week of like deep introspection. Honestly, with Saturn in Pisces opposing your ascendant, whatever conflicts have been coming up in your relationships over the past year and a half, almost 2 years really, that Saturn's been in Pisces now, has really caused a lot of reflection on yourself as a person. Caused you to rethink who you are and how you stand in your relationships. With the 5 of Swords here, maybe there's just been some pettiness, some petty fights in your relationships. Maybe this woman seems like she was stabbed in the back, like maybe there was some just like feeling like you got hurt, whatever the case is, and that might need to be rehashed. Maybe not necessarily like directly with a partner, maybe it's something in the past, maybe you need to write it down, do some journaling, whatever the case is, get it off your chest, okay? I do think that you're finally going to close out a chapter and feel at peace. All right, Libra, so what's coming up for you? Libra. The Unknown card. This isn't even a card that exists in any other tarot deck. I want to pull one more because I don't think that's very satisfying for you guys. And we have the 8 of Wands. Ooh, I see a surprise coming in for you guys this week, and it might be really exciting. We have the 2 of Swords, something you don't see coming. I feel like with the Unknown card and the 8 of Wands, you guys have Pluto at the 29th degree in your 4th house. I think that you guys are closing a chapter of being in your comfort zone of some sort. And I think you guys might be taking a leap of faith this week too, because the Unknown card and the 8 of Wands makes me think of just like surprises, especially because the sun is in your sign this week, sun in Libra, and it's squaring Pluto at 29 degrees in Capricorn in your 4th house. So I think that there is something coming up this week where you might have to like take a leap of faith to run away from something, or not run away, but like cut something out with the 2 of Swords. Like maybe there's been some indecision, or like not, again, the Unknown card, like you don't really know what the right choice for something might be. But with the 8 of Wands, once you make your choice this week, I think that you're going to realize very, very quickly that you made the right choice in walking away from something, closing a chapter, taking a leap of faith of some kind. You could also be receiving news like out of nowhere with the 2 of Swords here, like just like a random message, text, email that could like confirm that you're on the right path after like a period of feeling kind of lost. You guys do have Saturn in the 6th house as well, which is bringing a lot of restructuring to your day-to-day life, your coworkers, your routines, and your workplace. So maybe this is revolving around like some sort of school endeavor, work endeavor. All right, Scorpio, let's see what's coming up for you this week, my loves. What can you guys expect? The Page of Pentacles, okay. Oh, Ace of Pentacles. Some of you might be starting a new job. Maybe you're going to start interviewing for a job. Maybe you're going to start thinking about going back to school. If you guys are schooling age, this could be about you guys like starting a new schooling endeavor. Also with the Page of Pentacles, I think that you're being called to be more of a learner this week. You do have Pluto in your 3rd house right now, 29 degree, like closing a chapter of some sort. So maybe some of you are like finishing up schooling. Maybe you're graduating high school. Maybe you are applying for college, applying for graduate school. Also with the Page of Pentacles, this could be a time where you are finishing up learning something so that you can finally start making money from it. So maybe you guys took a course, or you read a book, or you took on some sort of certification that is now allowing you to open new opportunities for your finances. And this could be around like some sort of creative endeavor, because you guys do have Saturn in the 5th house, and Saturn in the 5th house is a really great time for you to take hobbies seriously and turn those hobbies into some sort of like financial income. Literally start selling like illustrations online, or like something like that could be coming up for you guys this week. I'm also just hearing overall to foster and indulge in like researching, learning, going back to school, because it might benefit you in the long run with the Ace of Pentacles to maybe just start making more money or add more value to your skill set. Also, some of you might be hearing back from like some sort of job that you might have applied to, some sort of positive, good news. All right, Sagittarius, what's coming up for you this week? The 6 of Swords, interesting. I think you guys are definitely closing a chapter with the 6 of Swords. This could be around your finances, because you do have Pluto at the 29th degree this week in your 2nd house of finances, and it's squaring the sun in Libra in your 11th house. So with the Ace of Wands here at the bottom, I see you kind of almost taking a leap of faith. It could be a leap of faith financially, because you guys also have Mars in the 8th house. Mars is retrograde and in Cancer at this time, which is not Mars's strength. It's kind of pretty debilitated at this time. So there could be some like delays or some issues around maybe a loan or getting approved for a mortgage, or maybe you're trying to invest more money into something or trying to invest in something new with the Ace of Wands. But with the 6 of Swords, in order to do that, you might need to close a chapter first. With Pluto in the 2nd house, maybe you're going to close out a certain way of making money, or maybe closing out a certain thing that you've been spending money on in order to make room for these new investments and these new ideas. All right, so moving into Capricorn. Capricorn, what can you expect this coming week? The 7 of Wands. With the 7 of Wands, you guys are being called to stand your ground about something. You do have a Mars-Pluto opposition kind of going on between your ascendant, your 1st house, and your 7th house at this time, because Pluto's at 29 degrees of Capricorn and it's opposing Mars in your 7th house. This is very much like power struggle energy, and with the 7 of Wands, I do think that you are being called to assert yourself. We do have the 8 of Wands here at the bottom, which tells me that you are finally going like full throttle on something. You will have an increased focus on your 11th house with Sun and Mercury entering Scorpio in the 11th house for you, which could be a time for social climbing or really taking action on your hopes and dreams of some sort. 8 of Wands is a pretty good indicator that by standing your ground, you might actually end up bringing a lot more opportunities to you, even if it kind of feels like an uphill battle at first. And that's to be expected, since you do have Pluto at 29 degrees in your first house at this time. You are like finishing up a phoenix rising from the ashes transit that you've been going through for 15 to 20 years. Right, Aquarius, it's coming up for you this next week. You have the Ace of Pentacles. There could be a financial opportunity or a career opportunity coming through for you with the Magician, something you've been manifesting. Now your Sun is entering Scorpio into your 10th house this year, which could be bringing recognition, illumination for your efforts at work. Also, Mercury is there and it's going to be in trine to Saturn in your 2nd house, which could be a time where you might experience some recognition at work and maybe a little bit of a financial boost. Like maybe you get a little extra bonus or like get another extra sale or something because of your experience being recognized and your effort being recognized. This is actually really, really positive. All eyes are on you, Aquarius, with the Sun in your 10th house coming up. So that's all I have for you guys. All right, last but not least, Pisces, what is coming up for you this next week? The Six of Swords. Interesting how like some of these cards have been repeating themselves across the signs. Honestly, there's just a lot of like transition, Six of Swords, and like endings, Death card that kept coming up throughout all the other signs. There's just a lot of beginning and ending energy this week. But with the Six of Swords, I see you guys like transitioning away from something. This could be around your friendships because we do have Pluto in your 11th house at this time. It's at the 29th degree, which is really calling you to reevaluate your friendships and whether or not they reflect who you are. I want to pull one extra card for you guys to get a little more info as to like what this transition might be about. The Fool. So we have a new beginning energy, very much so. The Fool reminds me of the Saturn in the 1st house that you guys are going through right now. Saturn in the 1st house, Saturn's been in Pisces, which can bring about like realizations about where we might have been a bit of a fool and have been a bit naive and maybe not completely seeing things for what they are. We do have the Five of Swords here. So there could have been some realizations about maybe where we haven't been asserting ourselves very well, where we haven't been upholding boundaries very well. And it could very well be connected to your 11th house of friendships, where there could be friends or people in your life that don't really treat you super well. And you have been learning to walk away and start anew. This could also be related to your romantic connections because you do have Mars in your 5th house, which is the house of romance and dating. So with the Six of Swords and the Fool, you guys have been dealing with someone who like continuously leaves you in the dark. You never know what's going to happen, or they kind of hurt your feelings often. I think that you guys might be ready to just take a leap of faith and go in something new and let that relationship go or let that person go. But also the 5th house is just generally the house of your light and your skills and your talents. So having Mars there tells me that you might need to assert yourself better and show off those skills or protect your light a little bit better. All right, so that's all I have for you guys, all 12 signs. I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.